migration, which is a global issue today, most importantly in South Africa. And I just want to say something before I start with my topic for today. South Africa is not a first world country. It is an economically or economic emerging country, as they call them today. It's like this country is not well developed, but then it is economically developed because it can sustain its people. It can create jobs for its people. It can attract investors. The country functions. The country itself functions. So hence it is called an emerging economic country. I think that's the correct term they use. Because back in the days when I was in high school, when we learned about South Africa, it used to be called a third world country, but today it is called an emerging economic country. I think that's the correct way to say it. Emerging economic country. So in South Africa, there's a serious problem with mass immigration. Wait, wait, wait. There's a very serious problem with mass migration in South Africa, and many people keep asking like the very same question, right? As to what is the way forward, what is the solution? Because many of these people are already here. How do we tackle this issue? Is it even an issue, or are people exaggerating at this point? So, first and foremost, it is an issue, it is a serious problem. One thing about mass migration, right, that people don't actually address and they don't want to come to terms with is that many people um who must migrate, who leave their countries for other countries, right? Especially in modern days. In the past, weigh your eyebrows. Weigh your eyebrows? I don't understand what that means. Hello, Tulu. Hello, Tulu. So, are you Somalian? Lol, funny question. No, I'm not, unfortunately. Fortunately, by the way, fortunately, I'm not a Somalian. Japanese? No, I'm South African. Japanese are Asian. And Somalians, they have a special also characteristic. I'm South African. Really? You are South African? What do you think about the issue of mass migration in South Africa? What do you think? Because many people right now are asking if whether there is a solution or whether the people should get documented, which I think is crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I think it is stupid and crazy. That is the worst thing that a person could think. I am of this view that people who say yes, that is not correct. Or reply me Salaka. What is I don't understand what you're saying. Christians are getting persecuted for no reason. When it comes to that, right, it's quite interesting because um um what do they call the Pope, right? The Pope, uh Pope Leo, I think it's Pope Leo, the Pope, right? Um Neither. I'm black. I'm from South Africa. So Pope Leo went to like he did. Hey. Pope Leo did some like a short tour around African countries. I think it was last month. Quite interestingly for me was that he didn't go to a country like Nigeria, a country where Christians are getting persecuted. It was quite interesting for me that because the Pope went to, I think, three countries. Hello, Mela. The Pope went to three, I think three or two African countries. I don't remember which countries are those, maybe Libya or something. But he went to three African countries. He didn't go to Nigeria. For me, it was quite interesting sometimes, because that is the world religious leader, and he's aware of the Christian persecution in Nigeria. But he went to several African countries, but he didn't go to the country where the Christians are actually suffering the most. Very interesting people sometimes, if you ask me. But then let's talk about mass migration today, or mass immigration today. So we see this issue is unfolding in South Africa, and now it is very serious. And there is this video that I found. Hey, stop explaining, sister. I don't understand what you mean. Stop explaining. Could you please be and talk to us about what? Talk to us about what? I'm already talking, aren't I? The issue is mass migration. About me? Why would I talk about myself? With all the problems in the world, and you just want me to talk about me? There is nothing interesting about me. The only thing that is interesting is mass migration that is happening in the world today, right now. So, I stumbled across this Korean video, right? You see, this is why people aren't educated about simple things in life. A person wants to educate you about Nagaland. What is that? Where is it? Oh, yeah, I do see it here on Google. Greetings from Dubai. How is Dubai? How is it there? Lungisi. How is Dubai? One of my client used to live there with her husband and children, but she moved. I think 2 months ago. She moved back to Italy. I found the place. I found the place. It's here, Nagaland. Nagaland. It's a place. It's a place in India. Fun if you are a moneyed African. Really? In what way? Like fun in what? Fun in what way? I feel like if I think a country where you would have fun as an African if you were rich, it would be Thailand for me. Because in Thailand you can like enjoy life freely, integrate with people. They have culture, they're still traditional. Bismillah. What is that? Are you Tulu? Are you Indian? What is Bismillah? I don't know. I'm not Indian. I have no idea about Bismillah. Bismillah. I don't know. I don't know. Wait, I need to talk about mass migration, okay? My country is falling apart right now. So, many people have been asking the same question as to what is the way forward with this mass migration or mass immigration, right? Like how do they aim, or how, like what is the plan? Because millions and millions of people are already in South Africa. Millions and millions of people are already in South Africa, and what is the way forward? So I need to play this video. Okay, my life is recorded. Okay, I need to play this video, right? This is a video as to how South Korea managed to tackle the issue of mass immigration. And you know, one of the main reason I chose South Korea in particular is because I lived in South Korea. That country is so organized. That country functions. Like that country is perfect. Like that country is perfect. You know, as a teacher in South Korea, a cashier, someone who works at ShopRite, Checkers, and Pick and Pay, earns more than me. And do you know how much teachers in South Korea get paid? Like myself, how much I used to get paid in South African rands? Like 30,000 plus rands every month. And the cashier earns more than me. I get like 30,000 rands per month as a teacher, but a cashier earns more than me. Can you imagine? A cashier, not even in a big supermarket, but in a convenience store. So South Korea doesn't have the issue of mass migration, but they once had this issue just like China, but they found a way to tackle this issue. So, like I said, I chose to use South Korea as an example because I love how that country functions. I'm not even gonna lie. That country functions. It is not a joke. South Korea functions. Like I've never been impressed in my life by a place like South Korea. Sorry, I've never. It's like in South Korea, each and every building, like each and every flat in South Korea, and their construction is quite very good because their passages, right, are not like wide, or even they use like the white tile to find like a place that maybe somehow ends up like being dirty. No, 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 no. They use like a gray, like dark gray tile in most of their buildings, like for the floor. So, and the passages are quite thin, meaning that they are easy to clean. There's not been a time when I woke up and then I went outside and the passage was dirty. There was like I don't know, people or waste on the ground or litter on the ground. That has never happened in my entire year and 6 months in South Korea. Never. And as soon as you go down, if you live, like say, let's say you live in the second or third floor, as soon as you go down, there is a shop. I'm not talking about Spanza, not Spanza shop where you don't know what people sell. I'm talking about like a convenience store, a place where the food is inspected, cosmetic is inspected, everything that you buy there. I can guarantee you that these things are inspected by professionals. Rest assured that you're not going to die. Compared to sponsor shops, we have had incidents in South Africa where children end up getting, I don't know, end up dying because of the food they consume from sponsor shops. You understand? But this issue of children dying because of sponsorship, it is something new. They have been, I mean, sponsorships have existed in South Africa for many years. They were run by South Africans. We never had issues with kids dying. But ever since the Somalians took over, and the Pakistan, the Bangladesh, and the Ethiopians, ever since they've taken over the sponsorships, uh, children have been dying. That's a fact. I don't know how many children have died, from the food they consume from spaza shops. Um, and I'm not quite sure which group of people were selling there. It could have been a Somalian, it could have been a Pakistan, it could have been an Ethiopian, but it wasn't a South African spaza shop. It was a spaza shop owned by a foreign immigrant. So again, I'll repeat why I am using South Korea as an example. That country functions delivery, e-hailing, I feel like just everything in that country functions. Like it's you can request a ride right now in South Korea. Rest assured, the person who's going to come pick you up will be a South Korean, and they will come pick you up in a fancy car. You'll think you're a celebrity there. Like a car with aircon, a clean car. I have, like I said, I lived there for a year and 6 months. I have never ever in my life been picked up by a car, a dirty car, or a stinky, smelly car in in South Korea. Never. They use the, I think Hyundai is Hyundai. They have like the best Hyundai model SUV. I think no, it's not the SUV, but it's big. It's the big one. It's the big one. It's the big the big. Wait, let me try to find it. Maybe I can find it here. South Korean South Korean taxi. Yep, this one. They use they use like I don't know if that shows. They use like you see this car here. This is the car that if you request a ride in South Korea will come pick you up every single time, all the time. It is driven only by Koreans. No, and like there aren't like other people who drive these cars besides Koreans. And in South Korea, they have their own applications. For example, they don't use like things like Bolt, Uber. They don't have. There is Bolt, I think, but it is not popular. I think they're starting to operate now. But for the time that I used to live there, I've never seen Bolt or anything besides this Kakao taxi because they use their own application. They have their own taxis in South Korea. When it comes to grocery, you don't need to go shopping. You can they have like an app called Coupang. You can order anything. Like they have everything in Coupang. Everything. Let me see if I'll find it here. Coupang. You can order everything, clothes, everything. I think I still do have an account. Huh? Is this Coupang? This one. This one. You can buy literally everything from this place. Everything. Everything and anything. Everything and anything here. And rest assured, whatever that it is that you buy, it will be delivered outside your door. It will be delivered right outside your door. Everything that you buy will be delivered right outside your door. Outside your door. And nobody's going to steal. No, people they have their own money. People they have money, People they have money because there is no mass migration, there is no chaos, there is nothing. This so again, why am I using South Korea as a reference? People have like in South Africa, right? They are trying to create this narrative as though South Africa wouldn't function without immigrants. That is a lie that they're trying to sell to South Africans. South Africa will mention perfectly without immigrants. Do you know why? Because now in South Africa we have a large group of young people who are educated. And when you have a population of educated people, it is easier for a country to function because these people, right? They go to work, they come back, they want easy life also. Remember, people who go to work, they want easy life because remember they have to wake up early in the morning, go to work, so they don't have time to go shopping. They don't have time to do a lot of things. So in between, like they can be like services like e-hailing, not Bolt, not Uber. I don't like those things. Bolt and Uber not my favorite. I want South Africa to have their own e-hailing, like their own South African e-hailing. So just like South Korea, right? Just like South Korea. So now I'm going to play that Korean video. Wait, what is the Korean video? I need the Korean video. Okay, so how did South Korea? Okay, it's here. Cultural programs overlapped with industrial ones. Enforcement was fragmented. Maybe South Africa can learn a thing or two from South Korea. Upcoming presidential election, Korea has a chance to lay out exact plans to protect the rights and livelihood of migrants. For years, the consensus across East Asia was that large scale immigration management simply didn't work in the region. The countries that tried to formalize it ended up with black markets. The countries that ignored it ended up with entrenched, undocumented populations they couldn't count and couldn't control. But in the space of roughly a decade, the same thing that's happening in South Africa right now. South Korea did something that neither outcome describes. It built a system that actually functioned, not perfectly, not without problems, but structurally it held. That's the thing no one was watching closely enough to notice. To understand what South Korea did, you need to understand what it was dealing with. In 2012, South Korea had roughly 1.4 million foreign residents. Can you imagine? I feel like this number is less compared to South Africa. 2023, that number had crossed 2.5 million. That's a near doubling in just over a decade. That alone changes the picture significantly. But the headline number doesn't tell the real story. The real story is what was happening underneath it. South Korea was simultaneously experiencing one of the most severe demographic contractions in recorded history. Its total fertility rate dropped to 0.72 in 2023. That is the lowest ever measured for any country, anywhere on Earth. At that rate, without structural intervention, South Korea's working age population was projected to shrink by roughly 36% by 2050. And this is only one layer of the problem. At the same time, irregular migration was rising. Visa overstay rates were climbing. The undocumented population, concentrated in manufacturing zones and agricultural regions, was estimated at over 400,000 by the early 2000s. And that number represented roughly 15% of the total foreign-born population. Public opinion was splitting along geographic lines. Urban residents in Seoul were broadly tolerant of immigration for economic reasons. Rural communities hosting large numbers of undocumented workers were increasingly frustrated. The government, positioned between the two, had spent years making contradictory promises to both sides. That was the pressure South Korea was under when everything started to change. Then something changed. In 2019 and 2020, South Korea began quietly overhauling its entire approach to immigration management. The illegal immigration curriculum in South Korea is quite interesting. Very interesting. They crack those people down. Law, not with an election night announcement, with a system. The government identified that its immigration problem was not primarily a security problem or even an economic problem. It was a governance problem. South Korea had built its immigration. So the problem here is that in South Africa, the government doesn't want to acknowledge that this mass immigration problem is not like the citizens' problem. It's not even the issue of economy. It's not like the economic problem. It is simply people taking advantage of the system, because one thing I've seen today, there is this video that is currently, it's not circulating, but it's a, in news, right, how they are, if there's an issue in South Africa to do with like foreigners, they will repost the same video like million times, because I love watching the news, South African news, or like the news all over the world. So there are currently a group of illegal or legal foreigners, but I assume they are illegal foreigners, because if you are a legal foreigner, I don't think you will need to go to the police station and fear for your safety, because the matches that are ongoing in South Africa right now have nothing to do with legal foreigners. They have everything to do with illegal foreigners, 100%. Illegal foreigners are the target of these matches, nothing to do with legal foreigners. So now these illegal foreigners, right, they have decided to go to like march at the police station in Durban, which is crazy for me, right? And I think they've been sleeping there since from Monday. Today it's Wednesday. They are lying by saying they've been sleeping outside the police station, because when you watch the videos from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they are wearing different clothes. If you sleep outside a place, you will wake up wearing the same clothes. It's like there is no magic that can make you wear different clothes the following day. No, there is no such a magic. So these people, right? This group of people, they come from different kinds of countries. I hear Burundi, Congo. I think those are the countries that I can recall from those people in that group. Burundi, Congo, maybe Malawi, Somalia, also Somalia, I think. There are a group of Somalians in those people who are supposedly sleeping outside the police station in South Africa, because apparently they say they fear for their lives. I don't know who they fear their lives from, but they are claiming that they fear for their lives. They fear much and much. They're saying a lot of things that don't even make sense, because, like I said, if you are a legal migrant, right? If you're a documented migrant, there is nothing to fear. Like, there are many legal migrants in South Africa right now who are sleeping peacefully in their homes because they know that much and much has nothing to do with them. They are living in South Africa legally. If they're going to universities, they're going to universities. If they have businesses, they have businesses, right? Those people are not scared. They're not scared because, again, they are legal migrants. The people who are scared right now are the illegal migrants, because these illegal migrants, right, they've been in South Africa for like a decade, and they know that the South African government protects them. They know those people. They know that the South African government protect them. Hence, even now, when they sleep outside the police station in South Africa, they know by doing so, somehow something is going to happen. You will see the government is going to intervene somehow. The government is going to intervene somehow, and whatever decision that the government is going to make will favor these foreigners over South Africans. You will see that's going to happen. That's what has been happening. They know these people. They're not stupid. They know. So these people, majority of them, are not in South Africa because of maybe good reasons, or maybe because there is something bad happening in their countries. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is 100% a lie. I've said this, and I will say this forever. In as much as many African countries have issues, they have big cities, just like any other country. They have functioning big cities. It's only maybe the like a certain part of the country that is affected by whatever that is happening in those countries, but it's not the entire country. Because if that was the case, then that means millions of people from that country would have left the countries. Wouldn't it be so? Because if people are being persecuted in that country, they live in large numbers, they live in millions. You cannot only have like 100,000 people leaving the country if like there is something serious happening in the country. No, people in South Africa who are immigrants, they know that when they come to South Africa, they're going to get free housing, they're going to get free SASA, free stipends. They know that they're going to get free healthcare, free education, they know these people. They're not even economic migrant. They know like like they can operate shops. They don't have to pay tax. Like they just know. They know because their forefathers and their grandparents have lived in South Africa under the same circumstances. They are just continuing the legacy of their families. That is what's happening in South Africa. So now let us see how South Korea dealt with these issues of people taking advantage of a corrupt government. I mean, the government is corrupt. We don't know if they will ever acknowledge that they are the issue. We don't know. Piecemeal over decades. Because to be honest, when you pay attention to South Africa, right, when ANC addressed the issue of mass immigration, right, they always beat around the bush, and they always make it seem as if it's like this problem that it cannot be resolved. And I feel like it is something that it is kind of getting popularized in South Africa, that, oh, this issue is big, we cannot solve it. No, it can be solved 100%. Let's see how South Korea solved it.
A visa category here, a bilateral program there. By the 2000s, the structure was incoherent. People entered on one visa and stayed on another. Agricultural programs overlapped with industrial ones. Enforcement was fragmented across multiple agencies with no shared data architecture. This wasn't one policy that needed fixing, it was an entire system that needed to be rebuilt. This wasn't one policy, it was a system built across 6 distinct pillars, each addressing a different layer of the same problem. The first pillar is the employment permit system, a closed-loop labor migration model. The foundation of South
You
Korea's
know, in South Africa, you know what's irritating about South Africa? You know, we have all these laws. These laws, they exist. These laws, they do exist in South Africa. These laws exist. An illegal immigrant or a refugee, they cannot um do business in South Africa. There is they can't, based on the immigration laws. They cannot. These laws they exist. So the issue of South Africa is a lack of law enforcement. That is the biggest issue. There are good laws in South Africa, good laws, but then no one is enforcing those laws.
approach is the employment permit system, known as the EPS. So, originally launched in 2004,
Zimbabweans have been given ZP. They don't even use it. They don't care.
it was restructured.
They don't, because these people, they just don't like laws. That's the problem. They don't like laws. They want, like, for me, I don't understand them. I don't want to lie. We are all fellow Africans, but I'm sorry, I don't understand those people. You are given ZP, you are given everything for free, but instead of trying to live a decent life, they just choose to become criminals. Somehow
between
they become
2019
greedy,
and
if they
2022
become greedy.
into what is now the most tightly designed bilateral labor migration framework in Asia. Here's how it works at the mechanical level. South Korea signs agreements directly with sending countries, currently 16 of them, including Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Bangladesh. Workers are recruited through government to government channels, not private brokers. They take language and skills tests administered in their home countries. They are
Oh, this could be. We don't have this in South Africa, actually. No, we don't have this.
matched to specific employers in specific sectors before they ever board a plane. That last part matters more than it might seem.
Yeah, Zimbabweans, they don't need to board a plane. They have there's no border between South Africa and Zimbabwe. They just cross the river and enter the country and leave the next day if they feel like leaving. Our fellow Africans.
In most immigration systems, workers arrive and then find jobs. In South Korea's EPS model, swipe the job exists before the worker arrives. Employers register vacancies. Workers are matched to those vacancies. Movement between employers.
You know, I feel like we do have this kind of a system, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Corruption. Corruption is the worst thing that has happened to South Africa. The fact that you will come across many Africans in foreign countries with South African passport, it tells you a lot.
Is restricted for the first year. Each
A
worker's
person
permit
is 100% Nigerian, but they're holding a South African passport.
tied directly to their employer and to their
Insane.
sector. The result is a near zero vacancy rate within the system.
Zero
Roughly
dignity.
300,000 EPS workers were in South Korea by 2023. Departure compliance rates, meaning workers
And
who
also, it's quite interesting, right? Sometimes I wonder, when do these people they get those forged passport? Do they enter their names in the system, or hmm, I do wonder. I think South Africa needs to do the I don't know what they call it, but they need to ask governments where their citizens are supposedly living to to send. the names or the data. Somehow they can do that. So for, let's say for example, in a country there are this much people, right, or this many people from a specific country, that country can send a list of those people. I think South Africa needs to do that. That's the way they can be able to know who are the South Africans holding the real passport and who are the South Africans holding fake passports.
returned home when their permits expired were running above 93%.
They have to do that. They really
That
need
is
to do
not
that.
an accident. It is a design outcome. The second pillar is a points-based skilled visa overhaul. Alongside the EPS,
We
South
do
Korea
we do also South Africa, we have a skilled visa, which is the most important one. And those with scarce skills, they ought to get employed in South Africa. That one has existed ever since from the beginning of time, but unfortunately, there isn't a single person in South Africa who is an illegal foreigner or a foreigner who is doing any scarce skill. All of them, they just went for those businesses that locals were already doing. And now they are complaining when local says, enough is enough, go. People don't understand, right? You take businesses of locals and you think people will just smile and say, okay, it's fine. No, people get fed up, you know? People get fed up. You cannot go to a country and run a spaza shop, sell counterfeit clothes or goods. I see crimes. I just want to put crimes aside today. What else do they do? And another thing is that I'm from Palabra, right? In Palabra, for example, you will not find uh, in Palabra you will not find people outside the shops like laying whatever that they're laying on the floor ceiling. They don't do that. They have built like a market, which is the same as in Pulukwane. Also in Pulukwane, there is like a designated like a area for informal traders. Not every person can just like a person cannot just trade anywhere they please, right? There's like a designated like an area like nicely it is made when people are finished shopping in the big mall from Pick and Pay shop, right? They can just go there in that designated area and buy fruits and vegetables or whatever that they want to buy from the informal markets. That's how it is kind of designated. I think they've changed that recently. Like they have like specific locations for informal markets. So the problem with illegal foreigners or migrants or our fellow Africans is that I don't understand if they don't see that. I don't understand if they're just being intentional sometimes because you go to a country, you see no one is blocking pavements, right? You see, like it's clear. You don't see a South African blocking a pavement. You can never see a South African blocking a pavement. Like I said, they have their own designated like informal markets, like in South Africa, like in each and every part of South Africa now. Because if they have designed this in small towns, in big cities also they do have the same, right? But instead our fellow Africans, for some reasons, they just feel the need to block a pavement. I don't understand that logic. For me, I don't get it. This is a place where people are walking, people walk here. And especially in Johannesburg, it's frustrating because Johannesburg, the CBD, it is near two big universities in Africa, UJ and Vets. There are students from these universities who, let's say, they would like to take a walk in the CBD. How can you even enjoy taking a walk if, like, the pedestrian walk, it is filled with whatever is it? The pedestrian walks, like each and every street. I think now. They are doing their job in Johannesburg. I saw the mayors and the JMP. Wait, is it Johannesburg Metro Police? JMP and other, I don't know, other workers there. They've been like removing these people from the streets. But these people are very stubborn. Here's the thing: you remove them today, They come back tomorrow. Africans, our fellow African brothers and sisters, you cannot control them. Even as South Africans and South Africans, we cannot control them. You just cannot control them. You cannot talk sense to those people. The moment you try to tell them, guys, you cannot trade here, okay? Go and trade amongst your fellow Africans. They're at those demarcated trading spaces. I don't know. They love this special treatment. I don't know. They don't like laws. These people. I don't think they like laws. They don't like rules. They don't like order. They don't like these things. I think I don't know why they don't like it. So when you remove them in those pedestrian walk, you are xenophobic. It's a pedestrian walk. This place is meant for people to walk. You guys, they like I'm serious. All informal traders in South Africa, they have specific like demarcated trading areas. They do, but a Nigerian or nowadays we have the issue. The Malawis also they are following this Nigerians. A Nigerian will choose a pedestrian walk. You cannot even walk freely in the CBD. You can't. And it's not even like they're trading something special. They're just selling counterfeit clothes there, which is something which is illegal. You cannot sell fake clothes. It's illegal. South African government give consent to what? I don't know what this person is talking about. So you see, that is the issue. You can't. You cannot. You just cannot. I've seen this. They took this behavior of them from their countries. They even brought it in Europe. I've seen it. They're doing it even in Europe. You know those pedestrians walk in Europe nowadays. They are filled with whatever they're selling. It's wrong. It's wrong. When people now they're going to say, guys, you must go home, and you guys are going to do people as xenophobic. People are not xenophobic. People, all human beings, we are wired to live based on how we are raised. South Africans they live based to how they are raised. They are raised in clean cities, less chaotic cities, and then you come, you want to cause chaos. It's not a good behavior. Even the Europeans there, the British, especially in England, it's happening all in England. You go to England, you cannot just lay things on the ground and then you say you are trading. It's wrong, guys. It's wrong. It's wrong. People don't hate you. They just hate that behavior of not wanting to abide by their laws and just I don't know. For me, I don't understand why they just don't understand simple things. Like simple things don't function like that. I mean, simple things don't make sense for my people, my fellow Africans. Like you try to teach, educate them, even littering, and the problem again is that they litter. Those people they litter. Like in let's say Johannesburg, the CBD, right? You should go there like in the morning. In the morning, you'll find the people who clean the city. It will be spotless, right? Give it until afternoon when they start, our fellow Africans, when they start with this thing of them blocking the streets. Within like before afternoon, the place will look as if it wasn't cleaned early in the morning. It looked like it's I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know if you have seen the video of what is that place in Nigeria. Mm, Lagos. Is it Lagos? I think it's Lagos. It looks like Lagos, like very like dirty in like few hours. They don't want to adapt. They want to learn. You just cannot teach our fellow Africans. As well, these ones who are not educated, you cannot teach them. You cannot help them. You cannot do nothing. The only thing you can do is to just send them back home because they are used to chaos. They can just go continue with chaos in their countries. Because in South Africa also they don't want to adapt, they don't want to improve, they don't want to live like decent human beings. Wait, let's continue. I want to continue that video of South Korea.
Korea rebuilt its skilled and highly skilled visa pathway from scratch. The old system was fragmented, employer dependent, and opaque. The new framework, introduced in phases between 2020 and 2023, uses a points-based scoring system that awards credits for education, Korean language proficiency, work experience, income history, and prior time spent in Korea.
Yeah,
This is where the structure.
I agree with this method, right? Visas, you have to have visas that are quite strict. South Africa needs to fix the issue of visas, especially. The issue of visas needs to be fixed in South Africa. For example, right? Um, when I went to South Korea, um, I used E2 visa. I remember I used E2 visa, which is a work visa, which is specifically a teaching visa. This is a visa that you get for, and getting that visa is not child's play. You see the South Africans that you see teaching English in South Korea. Those people they worked hard to get to South Korea. Getting the ED visa is not child's play. It isn't. The process itself is insane, and you need money to get that visa. You are going to start from getting police clearance, which is like 250. I think it was 120 rands back then. You need to have the police clearance where they check if you don't have criminal records. 160 or 160 or 120 rands in South Africa. From the police clearance, which it takes I don't know a while. It takes a while. They don't just do it today and then you get today. It's quite a process. Like you're gonna do your fingers today, and then they will take you to Pretoria, and then until they because they have to make the certificate for you to show that you don't have any criminal record. And then from the police clearance, you need SACA, like SACA, which is a verification of your qualification. You cannot teach English in South Korea if you don't have a degree. You can't. You need any degrees is okay. They take a degree. They don't just need education degree, any degree. So you have to get the SACA verification to show that your degree is legit, because people they tend to make fake degrees, you know. So also there, I don't remember how much we paid, like 500 or something, to get your degree that you already like worked hard to get in university. You have to get it verified by SACA. Step two, that one. And then from then, um, you have to get a job also from South Korea. From the South Korea, you have to get a Korean school. It's very important. It's mandatory to get a school to give you a contract, to send you a contract, because you're going to need this contract later. So when you go and collect your your police clearance, the certificate, your police clearance, and then your SACA, which is your qualification verification. Once you have collected like these two documents, right, you can take them to DECO, right? You take them to DECO. What I don't remember if DECO was free if or if we paid money. But remember, DECO is also in Pretoria. Like all these things are in Pretoria. All those departments are in Pretoria. You have to take the document. It's like this process. It can take you 4 months. It took me 4 months. If you're not using an agency, agency is expensive. If you're going to use an agency, you have to pay like 5,000, 6,000. They help you expedite the process. But if you don't have that kind of money, remember you have to do up and down. You go to police, you go to SACA, you have to go to Pretoria now to DECO. DECO also is it's a process. I forgot how many now. I think it's just a 1 day thing. DECO, because back then we had to just drop the documents and then they will call you to come and collect them. But I heard that they changed that system. Today you can just walk in. I think you have to maybe get a date first, like do the appointment online. I don't know the system now, but then back then you go to Pretoria to DECO, you drop your documents, and then you have to come and pick them up when they are finished verifying them, because it's a process. And then after that, what did I do? I did so many things. After that, you have to do medical checkup. And medical checkup, you don't just go to a public hospital. They have specific hospitals that you have to go there to do x-ray and what. I remember, because I went to separate hospitals. I went to, I forget what hospital was that one, but I remember two private hospitals. The first one I paid 800 rand for x-ray, right? And then, no, it was not for x-ray, it was for general checkup or X-ray. I don't remember, but because I don't remember, because like it was stressful. It was stressful back then. When you're doing these things, it's stressful because it requires money, it requires time, it requires like a lot of movement. You have to go from one place to another, and then you have to pay. I don't know, you need two, like a medical assessment actually. I forgot. I remember the x-ray one, which was, I don't know, 800 or something. And then we have also the general assessment one, which I think I paid, I don't remember how much, but there is one which I paid like 1000 something, and the other one I think I paid 800. Private hospitals, you get that, right? And then there's school that maybe you do an interview with, and then they accept you to come to teach to their school in South Korea. They will send you some sort of a contract that you have to sign. And then when you sign also here in South Africa, it's not done. You sign it, you send it back to them, they take it to the officials there, they get a stamp to show that it's a legit contract. From that contract also, now you have like your papers. I think I am missing other papers here, because I remember I did a lot of things during that time. I did I like because I was living in Johannesburg. I remember I went to Pretoria, I think 8 times. I went to Pretoria many times during that period. And then when the school resend the contract, you have to take the contract with the documents from DECO, which now are verified by DECO, and then you have to take them to the embassy, the Korean embassy, which also is in Pretoria. Do you understand? Like these people that you call, they tend to call lazy, what they go through to get a job, a mere teaching job in South Korea, what they go through to just get a teaching job in South Korea. That's what we had to go through. It's not easy. When you don't have money to move around, it's even worse, because you have to be ready to travel, to collect your documents and take them to other departments for third verification, because it's like a verification after verification after verification. And when you go to the South Korean embassy in uh, in Pretoria, there I don't think you pay a lot of money. It's not a lot of, you see, everything is money. The people who are called lazy, the South Africans who are called lazy, mind you, many of them, they were unemployed when they went through this process. They were unemployed, but they made it possible. They made it possible. And then also again, okay, fine. When you go to teach in South Korea, right, you don't need to pay for the flight ticket. The school will sponsor your flight ticket, will sponsor your accommodation. Oh, it's lovely. I'm not gonna lie to you. You have to try this once in a lifetime. So the only thing that you'll have to pay, probably it will be a guest house near the OR Tambo airport, because you don't want to miss the flight. And yeah, I had to book a night at this like in Kempton Park, at this guest house near the airport. And I'm also including the money for transport to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's not like when you go to these places, your things they just go accordingly. You can go to Deco, you can go to the embassy, you can go to wherever. They will say, no, we need these documents. I live in Johannesburg. I have to go back to Johannesburg and find these documents somehow. It's a crazy process, trust me. It's a crazy process. So you see, this kind of process, right? It shows some sort of dedication in people. Like these people are serious. They are coming in this country to do legal things. Because you see, we went through legal channels to get to South Korea. Here in Thailand, if I tell you how I got here, also it's a movie. Here in Thailand, because I am using ED visa, which is like education visa here. To come to Thailand, also I paid a lot of money. Trust me, to come here. The visa that I am using, I think I paid over 20,000 rands to get this visa to live here for a year, just 1 year. And also, I couldn't do this visa one in South Korea. I had to go to Malaysia. I went to Malaysia twice. And when you go to Malaysia, you have to book a place. Luckily, in Malaysia, you can go visa free. You can enter visa free, like as a tourist for like 3 months. I went to Malaysia. The first time I went to Malaysia, um, I had some issues because remember I was still working in South Korea. I couldn't stay longer. I thought maybe the process was going to be easy, and then they will help me with the ED visa in because I was applying the Thai visa from Malaysia, not from South Korea. From South Korea, it was very complicated. I couldn't do it there, so I had to go to Malaysia for like a week. But still, the time wasn't enough. I had to fly back to South Korea. Imagine, I had to fly back to South Korea because I had classes, I had to teach, I had a job in South Korea waiting for me. You have to do this movement. And then the second time when I went to Malaysia, I booked like a because I use Airbnb. For me, I prefer Airbnb now because it is safe. You don't know these countries. You don't know what you're gonna come across in these places. I booked Airbnb there. Luckily, the ED visa proceedings like went by quicker than I anticipated, like than before when I went like previously, and it was quite challenging. It was a challenging process, but not compared to the E2 visa in South Korea. But ED visa also it is challenging because also you have to have a place to live in Thailand before you can arrive in Thailand. You don't just come here without a place. You need a place. You need a school. The school which is part of the ED visa, which is expensive. I paid that money. You can imagine the money for the flight up and down, the money for the accommodations. We pay these things. Why can't other Africans do the same? Why is it that like South Africans have to be the ones who follow these laws of other countries? But then when you ask other people to do the same, they say you are xenophobic. Is the if you really want to live in a country, you will go through this stress if you are serious. You will go through this stress if you are serious. You want to live in a country, abide by their laws. So I think South Africa also at some point they really need to come up with this kind of strict visas or visas that will make people spend money. So so since these people they don't have money, so they will just stay in their countries and stop bothering South Africans in their country. You see, guys, this is life that we have to teach our fellow Africans that you, to live in any other country in the world, you have to go through the legal channels. It is not easy, but it's called respect. You have to respect people in their countries. You know, you have to. It's their country. You have to respect people. You have to. And also, if you live in Thailand using ED visa, every 3 months you have to renew it. And when when you renew it, it's money. It's money. We do these things out of respect for other people's countries, not because maybe it's fun. It's not fun, you know. Spending like about, let's say, how much in a month? Let's say 10,000. You spend 10,000 in a month for rent, lights. Once in a After 3 months, you have to go to do renew your visa. It's 1 year visa, but you don't live 1 year. No, 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 no. It's 1 year visa, but every 3 months you have to renew the visa. It's money. You have to pay money to do that. It's not free. It's not free, it's money. You pay for water, internet. Our fellow Africans cannot relate because they just connect to electricity in South Africa illegally. Now ESCOM is collapsing. We have had load shedding for decades there. For them, that kind of chaos is normal. For South Africans, it's not normal. It's not. And for me, I support South Africans. I'm sorry, I'm a South African. I support them. I also want to live in a functional country. I don't want to live in a country where 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the lights go off. It's not healthy. We are academics, we are business people. We try to teach English online. Can you imagine if I live in South Africa today? I have a client coming to teach English online and the lights goes off. What do I tell my clients? And when will I even tell them? Because I don't even know when the lights are gonna come back. Because when this lights goes off in South Africa, they go with the internet. Why? Because of illegal connections. You have millions of people using electricity for free. Even South Africa's joined because imagine you're a South African, you know that there are millions of illegal foreigners in your countries that they don't pay electricity. Do you think I will pay electricity? No, I wouldn't. I also will do what they're doing because my government is not saying nothing, right? You do what they're doing. It's that simple. One thing one thing I don't understand for me is like, I don't understand, right? I understand that maybe people maybe are poor in their countries. It's normal. I'm also poor. There are many poor people in South Africa, but they're not, jumping borders or entering other countries illegally. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I don't know. Someone out there has to educate our fellow Africans that guys, it's either you stay home or you go to another country legally, and while you live there you have to abide by their laws. If you can't, just go back home. Just go back home. It's They need to go. Like, they really need to go. Our fellow Africans, they need to go, or they should just find legal ways to live in South Africa. And they must also stop. Another funny fact, if for example I get sick right now in Thailand or even in South Korea, I forgot to mention, I was paying an insurance there. Health insurance in South Korea, 100,000 won every month. How much is that in rent? 100,000 won to rent. 1,098 rents. Health insurance every month. It was deducted from my salary every month. Do you know why? Because if I got sick there, there's no way I can access the hospital for free. Even here in Thailand, if I got sick here, I'm gonna pay. But not but our fellow Africans, nah. Everything for them must be free. There are no in public schools here, you won't see foreigners here. Public schools, no. That's why they have Asian countries have many international schools. These international schools, that's when because they attract people with money. No, they don't attract poor people here. They attract people with money who are going to not bother the locals. They will opt for private institutions, and they do opt for private institutions. When you live abroad, you will opt for private institutions, but not Africans. For me, the behavior is not even about South Africa at this point. It's because this behavior has extended to even other countries, not South Africa, Asian countries, not so much, but it's you see it in Europe today. They want to fight Europeans today. I understand colonialism and I understand how it affected us as black people, but we have to find ways to improve our livelihoods. We have to. We cannot always say, oh, because of apartheid or because of colonization. It happened. We are aware of it and we acknowledge it, but at some point, people they need to. I mean, there are many opportunities in the world today for all people of different races, right? There are. Why can't they do that? I mean, there are many black people in the world occupying prestigious or respected positions. They can do that, but no, they just want to risk their lives in those boats. You should see the boats that they enter Europe with. These people, the boats, a boat, a boat is like during colonialism. I can imagine like when the British, they were like traveling around the world colonizing people. The same boats, those very same boats that can sink with the climate change today. It's not like back in the days when the world was still safe. Climate change today is like things are unpredictable. Like the ocean, or there could be like a big wave that can hit that small boat or ship. They use boats where those people can die. There have been many people who died in the waters while traveling to European, our fellow Africans. Do you know why they go to Europe and South Africa? Because free, free, free. They will condemn South Africans for enjoying free things, but they left their country for free things. At least South Africans are enjoying free things in their own country. They left like miles, kilometers from there, the north, or even our neighbors, Zimbabwe in particular. That's oh, Zimbabweans. And South Africa helped Zimbabwe a lot. We help. Like when I remember growing up, like we used to have a lot of Zimbabweans coming in our homes selling different nuts or different brooms and whatever. We always supported them. We never had issues with them. The issue arose when now they wanted to do the things that South Africans can do, replacing South African jobs. Look what happened just yesterday in that MTN butchery. Five foreigners working there illegally. Foreigners in a butchery. Everywhere, everywhere. Mind you, the unemployment rate of South Africa is here. They don't even feel sorry for you, South Africans. That's how selfish they are. They don't feel sorry that South Africans are unemployed and doing drugs. They don't care about that. They only care about them. Like, they're selfish, these people. They just care about them. It's them, 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 them. That's why even when comes January, when it comes to enrolling children to schools, they are the ones to arrive at the gates first and enroll their children. When South Africans say, no, guys, this is our country, we must come first, they'll be like, you guys are xenophobic. You guys, you are evil because you are even threatening children. You see, they even use children as shields. They're the very same ones who are uh, marching outside the police station in Durban. They brought children there to make it seem as if no, South Africa is against children. Even they use children as shields. Our fellow Africans. That's how much they. I suppose they hate South Africans at this because for me there is no valid reason as to how I can justify this behavior of our Africans. I Okay, I do blame my government. That's the first problem. So ANC is a problem. Not just ANC, to be honest. Because when you hear other political parties, they're all saying the same thing. You ask Helen Zille, the one who's running for the mayor in in Johannesburg right now. That woman was asked about uh mass immigration. She said like the issue is not mass immigration. Can you imagine? That woman, like, I don't even understand why people like they think like she can make a difference in Johannesburg. Like that woman sold Cape Town, like literally, she sold Cape Town, Western Cape, to the highest bidder. No one even knows who's in charge there in Western Cape in Cape Town. People they think like she's going to change Johannesburg. Imagine how delusional people can be sometimes. I mean, I'm not vouching for Action SA, but at this moment, I'm saying like they are the people who are aware of what's happening on the ground because you have seen many of them like going door to door and seeing the real problems in South Africa, unlike the likes of DA and ANC and EFF. MK also not to be trusted. Zuma also just says something like we should document people. You know, let me talk about this issue of documenting people, right? You cannot document people. Do you know why? Because of limited resources. Already the country has high unemployment rate, right? So if you're going to document people, right, many people are going to come. Already there aren't jobs in South Africa. If people come, human beings they live from working, right? We make money from working. So if you have millions and millions of people coming to South Africa, why South Africa doesn't have job for South Africans? And then what do you think is going to happen in South Africa? There aren't jobs right now. These people also, I think they are protesting or they are acting crazy because they are also aware that the benefits that they used to enjoy in South Africa no longer exist. There aren't jobs in South Africa. That is a fact. The jobs aren't there anymore. For the locals, even for the foreigners. You document them and then what? They're already complaining. Clinics, hospitals don't have enough beds. Schools, there aren't enough schools for South Africans. And you document people, which schools are they going to go to? Because you see, these are the people who cannot even afford like rent, to say the least. And you document them and then what? How are you going to distribute the limited resources that are limited amongst the locals? They don't want to have this conversation. They just say, let's document them. Let's document. And also, like, these are people coming from different tribes in Africa, different behaviors, different ways of living. You want to integrate them with who? Which tribe? South Africa, a tribal country like that one. Where are they going to put them? You cannot take Somalians and say you're going to mix them with the Pedi people or the Xhosa people. They will eat each other. I mean, for the mere fact that you see the Pedi people are there, the Tongas are there, the Vendas are there, the Zulus and the Xhosas and everyone are there, they are scattered based on their territories. If you see them already scattered, what makes you think that you will bring people from other places and then you can integrate them with people who are already on their own segregated? Like these people that they're not thinking logically. They're not thinking logically. It's impossible. Where are they gonna put them? And also, do you think myself, I will talk about me here as an example. Do you think me, I can be happy to see a foreigner come to South Africa and be given a house while I don't even own a land in South Africa? Do you think people will be happy? A Somalian just arrived today. They given a flat in the CBD Johannesburg. I cannot even afford rent in Johannesburg. But they just live there for free because they are foreigners. I don't know what other reasons. Because this person is a foreigner. They can live lavishly. I also want to live in a CBD. People will say we also want to live in a CBD. Even the students in South Africa, they struggle to live in the nearest places to the universities. They have to live in Soweto. You know how Soweto is a little bit far from APK, APK, or even vets. They have to use transport every day. Okay, I know UJ has the buses, it counts. But let's say some days those buses, the bus is not like going to vets at the time that you want to. Then you are forced to use like transport to go there. And then they want to tell me that they're gonna give a Somalian a free home, a free apartment in the CBD. People are crazy. Because that's what it means by documenting people. If you document people, that means you have to give them a land or homes. They have to live somewhere. They cannot just live in the air. If you document them, then you need to give them homes. You need to give them jobs. You need to give them schools. Give them clinics. Where are those resources? They don't have. You have to give them these things. These things don't. So you cannot give people things that don't exist. These things they don't. They don't exist in South Africa as of now. They've said it themselves that there aren't enough schools for the public schools in South Africa. And these people, they give birth like nobody's business because they is it's. I have no idea why, because I don't know. They give birth like nobody's business. They have like 5, 6 children, or even 20. Who knows? And then you have like 20 Somalian kids in a school. They tell you, and then you come as a South African and with your child, they tell you that there's no space here. I'm using Somalians a lot, right? Because they are frustrating those people. They are very entitled. And Somalians are very entitled. I see Zimbabweans, right? But Somalians are on a different level of entitlement. Those people, they said they want Sasa. They are even trying to form political parties in South Africa. They drive me crazy. Those ones. I wish much and much should deal with them, because much and much should stop with Zimbabweans and Nigerians and other groups and just focus on Somalians. Literally, those people are bothersome. It's like you don't understand their nature. Everywhere they go, no one likes Somalians. Even the United States, they don't like these Somalian people. They are the pirates there also in the Red Sea. They have started with their piracy, just like the Israelis. Same group, same WhatsApp group. Those kind of you cannot deal with these people. I don't know why they are forcing them in South African communities. They must just take them to Somaliland or wherever they come from. So Somalia, it's a country. So you see, these are issues. Also, we are going to have this kind of cultural difference conflicts. People have their own cultures. We have our own culture. We are not going to bend to other people's culture. People who are just I don't outsiders. It's impossible. It's impossible. So mass migration is nonsense. That's what I can say. It's nonsense. It doesn't. It is nonsense. It's nonsense. And the only solution in South Africa right now is to just remove ANC. To be honest, because ANC doesn't want to. It seems as if like they have like this big reputation in the world or in Africa, but they don't even address real issues. They're always talking riddles. You have to listen. Always listen to Ramaphosa, like when he make those speeches, public speeches. He's always talking in riddles. It's like he doesn't want to address what's really happening. Even now, we have these people outside the police station in Durban. No one is saying anything about it. Like they have been pastors and whatever, different groups of people there going to try to assist with the issue. No one is really talking about this. The president hasn't addressed this issue. South Africans, they said the 30th of June. Ramaphosa didn't say nothing. Nothing, zero. He hasn't addressed the nation. Nothing. So, how to get rid of mass migration? You just send people back home. There is no war in South Africa except for Sudan. The only country that is in war is South Sudan. Congo also, yes, Congo also. I do feel for the Congolese though. I do feel for the Congolese and the Sudanese. It's terrible what's happening in their countries. But also again, this do you know what's irritating sometimes amongst Africans is that you find that these people who are like terrorized in their countries, they are being terrorized by their own people. That's how insane Africans are. People are invaded by like outside countries. Like you see, Iran today, it is attacked by the USA. That is serious war, you know. But in Africa, like Nigeria, Nigerians are killing Nigerians because apparently this one says I am a jihadist. I'm killing this Nigerian because he's a Christian. How stupid is that? These religions are not even our religions as black people. Black people are not even Christians, historically so, or religiously so. Black people are not Muslims, historical or religiously so. But then, like, they just adopt other people's religion and then now they want to kill each other over religions that are not even theirs. How stupid these people can be sometimes. Hey, I respect Christianity, right? And I respect people who, who choose to become Christians and who people who choose to become Muslims. But if for me it comes to a point where I have to be identified as a Christian to die, I will say I'm not a Christian. If I have to be identified as a Muslim to die, I'll say I'm not a Muslim. I'll say that proudly so. Proudly, I'm not going to die because of I'm a Christian. Never. I will never die because of that. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die as key to mates. A petty person. And maybe if someone kill me because I'm petty, it's reasonable. Kill me because I'm petty. Because that's inherent to me that I'm born petty person. I'm born in that tribe, right? But I'm not born a Christian. You are taught to be a Christian. I'm not taught to be a petty. I was born a petty. It's different. You are taught to be a Muslim. You're not a Muslim. You're not from the Middle East. You cannot even speak Arabic language or those those languages they write like this. Those jihadist Nigerians they cannot even speak any of those languages of Arabic or the Muslim languages, but they claim to be Muslims. And I don't even think they follow their religions correctly because I don't think there is any religion in the world that can say go and kill someone because this person is a Christian. I don't think that's even Islam. I don't know Islam as a religion, but I don't think it teaches people to go and kill other people. Otherwise, there is something wrong with that religion. Seriously, if Islam it teaches them to go and kill their fellow black people because their fellow black people they chose to be Christians, then there is something wrong with their Islam religion. Or it could be that they themselves have been brainwashed by because they do tend to twist these religions, they twist them. That's why I don't follow them because you don't even know what is real, what is not real anymore. There's Old Testament, there is New Testament, there is Quran, there is whatever. Then they subdivide and then they create narratives and brainwash. Maybe in the past, religion used to be quite honest, but nowadays, with like I'm just giving a practical example with the situation in Nigeria. If now these people they say they are Muslims, they are jihadists, they are sent to kill Christians, then there is something wrong about their religion, isn't it? It's the same thing with Christianity. They say you have to kill the if someone is from the Amalek, you must kill them. But there is something wrong with these religions. At least if I'm not a religious person, I don't have to be told to be uh ordered to go and kill people because apparently these people they believe in this or they come from this. You understand? I just feel like, hey, I respect religions. Let me just say, I respect these religions, but some of the things that you learn from this religion sometimes will make you question actually like what actually they stand for. Because nothing makes sense. Why would you tell people to go and kill other people? That doesn't make sense. So you see another thing with Africans, they just inherit or adopt things that have nothing to do with them and they end up killing each other like people in Nigeria. Because it doesn't make sense what's happening in Nigeria. Now 50 girls from schools have been kidnapped. We have these Boko Haram people also who have existed ever since I was a child. When I was growing up, I used to hear Boko Haram, Boko Haram. I'm 27 years old now. Boko Haram. 27 years old. Boko Haram. These are not white people. These are not Arabic. These are black people. Black on black crime. They don't call it that way. They give it a special name like they're jihadists. They are this to make it sound like a little bit fancy, I suppose. Or maybe so that people don't address it for what it is. Because 50 children, girls, it's always the girls. I don't know what Nigerian girls have done to Nigerian men. Nigerian men hate their women more than you as a South African. Sometimes I'll think South African men hate South Africans more than I mean South African men hate their fellow South African women because South African men they can give a woman a child today and then leave that they don't care if the child grows poor or whatever. They don't care. We used to think like South African men they hate their women more a lot. Bad humans are bad humans regardless of color. Yeah, I agree with you. The people are horrible today. People are horrible. Now people are horrible. Like, let's talk about this thing of mass migration again, right? Now we are like the world is talking about the AI race. Like AI race is more like there's a chance, a big chance that the robots are going to replace human beings, right? And then now we have our fellow Africans who are still fighting South Africans to own a spaza shop. Whilst you are hearing that the robots are coming, when are we going to have this real conversation of what's happening in the world? I agree with you. I agree with you. People are horrible today, very horrible. And greedy. I think money is the root of all evil. Whoever came with this saying knew what they were saying. Money is the root of all evil. Terrible. The wrath of God, I'm gonna leave now. I've been here for like 1 hour more. But thank you always for like having honest conversation with me. Bye bye. I hope you do well out there. Bye bye.